Uh,
Yes.
Do you want to
Tell me.
introduce yourself and things?
Yes. Should we start uh,
Yeah.
officially? Perfect. So hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Carolina, and I will be one of your moderators in this webinar today, along with my colleague Carla and Mindy, our Cosmic Girl CEO. We are very excited for all of you to join us. I will start like a quick introduction round and then give the floor to Carla and then to Mindy. As you perhaps know, I'm one of the forum managers in the Cosmic Girls room. I'm an aerospace engineer, so that's my background. I currently live in Brazil, but I've lived for the past 10 years in Germany. I have recently joined the Cosmic Girls team so that I could have a bigger impact on supporting girls who already are or who want to join the field. Kala, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for introducing yourself, Carolina. So I'm Carla. I'm also one of the forum managers of the Cosmic Girls Forum. I am located in Boston in the US, but I'm originally from Mexico. I've also lived in Guatemala and Brazil. And around the same time that Carolina joined, I also joined the Cosmic Girls team. And I'm really, really excited to welcome Tabitha. But before Tabitha, I'll pass it to you.
Awesome. Well, it's great to meet everyone. I'm Tabitha Lipkin. I am the senior content producer here at Blue Origin. And like many of you, I also have lived abroad. I lived in Costa Rica for the last 3 years and only recently returned to the US and took this job with Blue Origin, which has been really exciting. And yeah, today I get to talk to you a little bit more about what I do here at Blue Origin. And when we talk about STEAM, I assume that I'm kind of the backing of the A in STEAM, right? I come from the art side, the communication side. So I've got a little presentation for you guys to kind of tell you more about what I do. And then afterwards, I'm sure we can get into some great questions. So let me share my screen and let me play this. All right, so thank you guys again on behalf of Blue Origin and Club for the Future. Let me tell you and show you a little bit more about what I do. So here you go. Big part of your life, of course, is your daughter, Daisy. Yeah. I want to know, does she kind of have a concept of what's happening, or like, what are your feelings around sharing this with her?
I mean, she's 4.5, so she's still trying to figure out what day of the week it is.
Sure.
But it is very normal, for us to talk about mommy going to space now. And I will be so excited to hold her when I land.
Do you have a message for your family in this moment? It's okay. Yeah, no stress.
I'm going to be very emotional this weekend, of course.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing. It's a big journey.
It's huge.
NS-33 is finally set to launch from our West Texas site after a weather delay earlier this month, and we've got our incredible crew, self-named Solstice 33, excited for this adventure across the Kármán line. I'm Tabitha Lipkin.
And I'm Alice Watts.
And this is New Shepard's 13th human flight. Oh, and it is such a beautiful connection. So I want to focus on Aisha Bowe for a moment. I mean, she just embodies what it means to be multidimensional, right? She talks about going from community college to space. She's representing the Bahamas, and she helps founded projects like STEMboard and Lingo. But within being multidimensional, she also was a mentor for an employee right here at Blue Origin who helped build the very rocket she is about to take off on.
No dream is too big. And also, LL Cool J said this to me once, dreams don't have deadlines. Isn't that good?
That is real good.
Dreams don't have deadlines. I've never forgotten that he said that, and I believe that as well.
You know, a lot of friends and family have come out here, and it is an exciting vibe. I am standing by with two women who need no introduction. And Chris, I have to start with you. What is it like to be here, and what brought you all the way out here to this launch?
Well, Lauren and Jeff, we're here to support our girlfriend and our friends, and I never thought that we'd be talking to you from a space launch.
So yeah, I hope you guys can still hear me, but essentially that is a little taste of what I do here at Blue Origin. I do a lot of camera facing work where I am representing Blue and sharing the stories of Blue. A lot of those clips were from NS31, which was our all-female launch that happened back in April, but also I do the webcast for all the launches that we do and have coming up. So a little bit about a day in my life. So what I do is I take the time to find compelling stories right here at Blue. And that could be anyone and from anything like, hey, what's happening over here with our engineer? Or it could be a full storyline of, hey, you know, Club for the Future is coming out with a new lesson plan and we want to follow it from concept to reality. Always connecting here with the people of Blue. And that's really the key in working in communications, is continuing to connect with people throughout your organization and throughout the world, really. Like everyone has a story to tell, and a lot of what I do is just listening and making sure that I know where those stories are and who the audience is for those stories. I do a lot of my own writing, shooting, and editing, and this is something I cannot stress enough for individuals who want to get involved in production. A lot of people like to be on camera, especially in this world where we have so many opportunities to do social media or to make our own content. But if you really, really want to succeed in, I think, the communications field, I think you've got to have your hands in absolutely everything, from the what seems like a minute task, like, oh, I need to actually just make a list of the equipment I need for a shoot, all the way up to the final product, what you edit and pull together. If you can have your hands in all of those different pieces, you can really have some quality control and make sure that you're telling the story that you want to tell. Always learning, right? Like, I'm 35 years old. I've been doing this since 2012, not to date myself too long, and I am learning stuff every single week. I tell you, like, you think you got something under your belt and all of a sudden it's like, hey, actually, there's this new system, this new editing system, or there's this new camera, and technology is advancing in such a cool way that we're able to actually get our hands on great technology and great storytelling assets. So I definitely encourage you to keep learning as much as you can, and then sharing. Like, that's the cool part of communications, is being able to share these stories with your audience. And that audience, you never know who's watching, especially in a role like I have, where I get to be so forward facing to the camera. You never know who you can share these stories with and who's listening and who will be inspired by that story. So that is a really important thing for me. So I wanted to share with you guys, like, a story that I recently pulled together for Blue Origin. This one, I'm not in this story, but it is a story about us, our lunar team, going to NASA and working in the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, which is this really cool pool that is used for divers. And being a diver myself, I had a lot of passion into this project of being able to share how we're able to train and practice underwater for lunar missions. So let me share with you that. Down to the pool floor, and then at that point we'll start the retrieval. Recently, our lunar team had a successful collaboration with NASA and conducted 2 underwater spacewalks at Johnson Space Center's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. This showcased the successful operation of the Blue Origin Mark II moonlander, specifically designed for human missions, planned as part of NASA's Artemis campaign. The Blue Origin Mark II mock-up replicated the actual dimensions of our airlock hatch and its close proximity to what will be the lunar surface. The hardware was tested by 2 suited test subjects within a simulated 1/6 gravity environment, just like the environment on the moon. The Blue Origin and NASA teams evaluated the following. First, we did an airlock test for extravehicular activity, demonstrating crew member suited activities like entering and exiting the lander. We did an evaluation of the emergency ingress from the base of the lander to inside the airlock, assessing the process of getting inside the vehicle in case of an emergency from the lunar surface. Then we verified the cargo transfer and crew rescue systems. And finally, we executed these tests in simulated lunar lighting conditions expected on the lunar South Pole. Congratulations to our lunar team and NASA partners on a successful Mark II run at Johnson Space Center's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. So for me, that was a really cool story to share because I have such a passion for scuba diving, and now I work and live in this world revolving around space and space systems. So being able to tie those two things together was so exciting. And it was also an opportunity for me to learn, right? Like I knew what the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory was beforehand, but I'd never really seen footage of how it was being utilized. So it was really neat to get to talk to our lunar team, our lunar permanence team, and learn a little bit more about, hey, what are we doing there? What are we working on? And how are we working with our partners? So I'll tell you also a little bit more about Blue Origin and Club for the Future. So our vision, of course, is millions of people living and working in space for the benefit of Earth. Everything we do here is for the benefit of Earth. And with that, I want to share another video with you from our production team here.
The human need to explore is deep within all of us. Our ancestors crossed mountain ranges, sailed open oceans to map new lands, and sought out the unknown while always looking to the stars. We're curious, and now we're at a place where we can pioneer new horizons. Because Earth, this blue planet, and all its beauty, is just our starting place.
It's time to go again. 4. Command engine start. 2, 1. And lift off. 5,000 feet and climbing.
This is incredible.
Now is the time to open the promise of space to all and lay the way for generations to come. When our descendants look to the stars, perhaps from a rocky moon or colonies floating in open space, they'll remember this time. When they reflect on where it started, they'll remember this place. And when they honor those first explorers who said, "Let's go," they'll remember these bold steps. We are of Blue Origin. And this is just the beginning.
I love watching that video. I think it really embodies what we do here at Blue and who we are and why we're doing all the things that we're doing, right? We're not going to space just to go to space. We're doing it for the benefit of Earth, and we're doing it for the long-term goal of helping future generations. And this is a little document about building the road to space for the benefit of Earth. First, we radically reduce the cost of access to space. That's one of the coolest things about the missions we do, our New Shepard missions. You know, it is exciting to be able to send astronauts to space and to do so with individuals who, you know, just 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, you couldn't commercially go to space. But there's so much more than just sending people who are paying to go to space. All of those systems are actually systems that we also use on our much bigger rocket, New Glenn, which is set to be launching this fall, which is very, very exciting. And those will be able to get payloads to the moon and possibly even to Mars. So these are all the things we're working on too. We're harnessing the vast resources of space, and that's part of our longer term goal. And we're inspiring and mobilizing future generations. So there's a little layout of the different programs we have here. We have New Shepard, which I kind of talked to you about, which sends humans to space. It crosses the Kármán line. It's about a 15-minute flight. We have New Glenn, which is our bigger rocket I mentioned, where all the systems on New Shepard are applied to New Glenn. We have our lunar permanence team, our engines team, and then finally our space systems team. What's happening? There we go. And before I play this, I want to go back. This is a video we have in regards to Club for the Future. And this is Jeff talking about how important Club for the Future is. This is one of my favorite videos, and I really respect the ability to be able to look forward and know that the things that have to be done for our planet require the mobilization of future generations. So I'll let this play out for you.
What I'm laying out here today is obviously
a multi-generation vision. One of the things that we have to do is inspire those future generations. And so today, I'm announcing that Blue Origin is founding the Club for the Future, whose mission is to inspire young people to build the future of life in space. So we're going to ask K through 12 students to send us postcards with their dreams of the future, and then we're going to send them to space in New Shepard, bring them back and mail them back to you.
We're from Blue Origin. We are going to be sending some postcards to space. And we really wanted to bring that access to students to inspire them.
I'm interested in space medicine and space exploration, so I have a futuristic city with a rocket launching, and it's going to be a giant caduceus on the top, which is a symbol for medicine.
Mine has a person standing on the moon, and it says the future is only a tomorrow away, because if we build the future, we have to do it a day at a time.
Wow, that's really poetic. That's really cool.
Today we're loading the Club for the Future postcards into payload lockers, and those are going to be loaded into the crew capsule. We've got thousands of postcards that are going to fly on New Shepard.
And it's this generation's job to build that road to space so that the future generations can unleash their creativity. The kids I talked to earlier, if they are representative of the current generation, we are in good shape.
And I also agree. I think we're in really good shape. I know that at least here in the US, it's 2 p.m. on the East Coast in the middle of summer, and the Cosmic Girls Foundation, you have the high schoolers, and I would probably be out at the beach or playing volleyball. So it means so much that you guys tuned in to learn more about what we do here. Oh, sorry. Even you can work in communications your whole life and still not be able to work a PowerPoint. I tell you that. There's another industry secret. Just give me 1 second. It doesn't want to play. Da, 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 da.
So Tabitha, you do your own singing as well to fill in.
I do. I'm not big on empty spaces. There we go. So, of course, here at Club for the Future and Blue Origin, we want to inspire future generations to pursue careers in STEAM for the benefit of Earth. This is really exciting for me because when I grew up, it was called STEM. And of course, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. And there was no A. And when I came to Blue Origin, I was like, I thought someone misspelled STEM. And I was like, oh, why is it STEAM? What do you mean STEAM? They're like, arts. And I was like, arts? And they're like, yeah, like what you do. And I was like, well, yeah, duh. Here I am getting to work in a really cool field, but being a communicator, this has been a lifelong dream of mine. I've always wanted to be an astronaut since I was a little girl, and now I have the ability to tell and share the stories of astronauts and the engineers and the teachers, everyone who's working in our systems to build a road to space. So that's really, really neat. Here are our different programs within Club for the Future. So Club for the Future is Blue Origin's nonprofit, which of course you guys probably know a little bit about, but we not only have lesson plans, but we do have the program where we can send postcards to space. You can draw anything you want on these postcards. You can deliver it to one of our mailboxes. It will fly up on a New Shepard rocket and it will be certified, sent to space, and sent back to you. Just got to make sure your address is on there. Or now we also do digital postcards. So we're sharing different career pathways. We have different ways of hands-on learning, and we have our postcards that we can send to space. So that's all that to say is if you have the opportunity, you can totally launch your own digital postcard into space or your physical postcard into space as well. To learn more, you can go to draw.clubforfuture.org. It's right there on your screen. And to learn a whole lot more information about Club for the Future, you can go to clubforfuture.org and learn it there as well.
Club for the Future has sent thousands of postcards to space from kids all over the world. And we want you to send us yours. A New Shepard rocket will carry your card to space and back home to you as a once-in-a-lifetime space-flown keepsake.
These are fantastic.
Take a blank 4x6 postcard or download our postcard template from clubforfuture.org and print onto a thick piece of paper. On one side, draw, color, or write about your idea for what the future holds for Earth and humans when we're living and working in space. On the back side, write your name, address, and zip code, and add a stamp. Place that in an envelope and mail it to us at P.O. Box 5759, Kent, Washington, zip code 98064, and we'll take it from there. Visit the website clubforfuture.org to follow the latest club activities and take part in cool new things in space.
Here's an example of our Astros. Every astronaut who flies on New Shepard also makes their own postcard that goes with them. So this is something that anyone any age can do. You can be a child or a child at heart. I've actually sent 3 postcards at this point in time, and I love doing it because it's just so cool to have something in your hands that actually went to space. And if you have any other questions, of course, you can email clubforfuture@blueorigin.com. But for now, you can chat with me, and I'm excited to chat with you guys more. So now, back here we are at Rocket Park. I wanted to open the floor up for any questions that anyone might have about what I do, how I got here, what we do here at Blue Origin, what Club for the Future does. It's all on the table.
How did you get into, first of all, doing what you're doing, and the idea of, is this what you planned on your entire life, or was this an accident? Or give us a little bit of a backstory of how you ended up where, at Blue.
Sure. I mean, I was essentially the age of the girls in your foundation that around that time I decided that I wanted to work in broadcast. When I was really little, I would get myself ready for school every morning and I would turn on the Today Show and I would watch these broadcasters who were able to talk to so many different interesting people. I remember one specific series that they did where they actually reported from Easter Island. And I found it so fascinating. And I was like, gosh, it would be so cool to be able to talk to people who do so many different things and travel all over the world and talk to people in different places and share their stories. So I went to school for broadcast journalism. I went to the University of Texas. I took a broadcast journalism course. In fact, my bachelor's degree is in journalism. And then I went straight into it hands-on, which essentially back in the day involved you go to a small market in news and you kind of work your way up. So I started in news. My internships, however, were in late night TV. I also loved staying up late. I'd be up early and I'd stay up late, specifically watching Conan. And I was so fortunate at the end of my college career. I got to intern for Conan and then for Colbert, who's now over at CBS. But at the time, he had a show called The Colbert Report, and I worked on that. And then I jumped into that small market and I worked my way up to being in front of the camera. And a big part of what I was able to do, why I was able to do that is essentially I never said no. So when I was asked to do jobs that seemed kind of menial, like, hey, can you write this script? Or hey, can you edit this video? Or hey, can you go shoot this thing really quick? I always did it. And I'm so grateful I did. Learning the back end is so important to be able to be confident in the front end as well. And so I started there. I also ended up working kind of in the conservation scuba field. I was crowned Miss Scuba International back in 2014, which was a decade ago, a long time ago, but that opened a door for me to be able to talk more about conservation and women in scuba diving as more and more women find an interest in scuba diving. And not to jump around too much, but from there, I then started working in the travel industry as well as a travel host. So I've worked for shows that like The Wanderer, which is on Amazon Prime Video, or First Look, which is on NBC. And so I've kind of run the gamut of working as a news anchor all the way up to working as a travel host. And then when I moved back to the US, I was really looking for something that involved a team and had a bit of a bigger meaning. And so when I looked into Blue Origin and I saw their mission for the benefit of Earth, knowing my skills, I was like, gosh, I always wanted to be an astronaut too, aside from being a broadcaster. When I was much younger, wanting to go to space camp, and I was like, gosh, it would be so cool if I was able to actually work in the science field as well. And I saw a posting for this position here. I reached out to the team and I said, hey, I've got a lot of cool skills I think that would be applicable for you guys. I hope you bring me on. And they did. And now I get to tell the stories of Blue, internal and external. And it's really, really rewarding.
Okay, so before I hand it over to Carla and Carolina, I just wanted to find out, why did you not end up like studying math and science and getting into the STEM careers yourself if you wanted to be an astronaut? What was stopping you?
I think, times definitely change, and I was very good in the STEM fields, actually. I was very, very talented, especially when it came to chemistry. That was my bread and butter, taking AP chemistry in high school and doing really well in those fields. But I think, times were different and we tended to think more in a box. We forgot that as women, we can be multidimensional and we can do a lot of different things. So I always felt like I had to pick a direction and go only in that direction. It's only in the last, 10 years that I realized, hey, I can do so many things. That's why I started telling these conservation stories related to scuba diving, because that also involves STEM, right? There's so many cool technologies being used in the talks around conservation, especially with our issues of overfishing and longlining and lots of things that are happening in our oceans. So I was able to kind of take what I learned in broadcast and go back into the science field that way, and then transition also over into the science of space. So there is no box, there is no limit. You can do everything and you can do it all, which is really cool.
Okay, so you got there in a roundabout way eventually, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Carla and Carolina, I hand over to you for some of the questions. And if the girls in the audience would like to ask someone, feel free to either raise your hand or put something in the chat. So
I have a question. I got this question from the Cosmic Girls Forum. Unfortunately, they were not able to be here, but I'm able to voice those questions. The first question is, how do you mentally prepare for extreme environments, whether deep underwater, water, or like high above the earth, if you have gone to space? But like, how would you mentally prepare, at least for stressful situations?
I think the best thing to do to be prepared is to be educated. So I never walk into a situation blind, right? If I'm going to go scuba diving, I've taken a ton of training to know that I feel comfortable underwater and I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing when something goes wrong. It's almost scarier to be on camera. In fact, a little fun fact for you guys, I am not the best public speaker. In fact, I'm more nervous right now than I ever am when I'm doing a webcast, because I'm speaking to you live. You might have even noticed I'm a little shaky, but here's the thing. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this a long time. So sometimes even when you're a little nervous, you kind of do it scared, but I trust in myself enough to know that I know what I'm talking about and I'm able to connect with you guys. And I think that's really exciting. So I just say be educated and be prepared. That's how you can take on the craziest, hardest challenges.
And being a little bit scared there's nothing wrong with being a little bit scared. The adrenaline is going. I mean, that's just sometimes because of that you get, also hyper focused, because you're able to, you're bringing your A game when if it's too casual, then it's just not, you don't end up bringing your A game. So that's great that you also kind of shared that, so that we can hear, like, not even professionals like yourself still manages, to get scared in front of a group or whatever, like we all do. Even though we do it hundreds of times, it still happens almost every time, So thank you for that.
It's totally normal. It's totally normal. I heard it's like, if you can't face the fear, do it scared. Just do it scared.
Yeah. Great.
And it's also interesting because you don't seem nervous at all. Like, you seem like more excitable and like, I can do this, I can do this. Yeah, so you don't seem nervous at all. I'm also someone that gets nervous right in the camera, but I think that people maybe see it as, oh, you're so excited. And I'm like, oh, I'm freaking out. That's what I'm doing. That's what's happening.
It's a redirection of energy. It's like, all right, if there's energy here, just put it here.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I also have another question from the forum, which is, what advice do you have for young storytellers who want to blend science and adventure, or the arts, I guess, in your case?
Yeah, I would say just start. I know that seems like so simple to say. Things have changed so much in the last 10 years, 20 years. When I went to the University of Texas, like I said, I took a broadcast journalism course to work in broadcast journalism. That course doesn't even exist anymore because technology and media has changed so much. Now it's kind of this all-encompassing like digital media course. And with all the technology we have, right, you could start with just your phone. Like a cell phone is such a powerful tool to be able to record things, to be able to share things, and to really be able to create in a way that we just weren't able to do not even that long ago. So my advice is to start small. You know, if it's a silly idea and you're like, oh, I don't know if people are going to be interested in learning about like different types of rockets, right? Like, let's say that your passion is you love learning about rockets and you love sharing information about rockets, or you love learning about why a certain chemical reaction does something across the board, then start making videos or start writing blogs about it being interesting. And I guarantee you there is an audience out there for you that is going to want to learn from you and to hear from you and to connect from you as well. So the advice is just to get going, just start.
That's awesome. And I think one last question before I move it or pass it to the audience if they have questions is, have you ever had to deal with failure? And if so, what are some strategies you use to continue to keep moving forward despite maybe having that potential demotivation in a typically male-dominated field?
Sure. Failure is part of life. And I think the only time you really fail is when you don't try again. I have been told for every yes that I've gotten in my life, I have gotten 100 no's, and you're going to get no's. And the key is to work past what people say that you can't do in your career. It's to know and believe in yourself enough to keep going. Life comes through you, not at you. So my best piece of advice is to take what you might think is a failure and to just keep going. Everyone on this planet deals with it, and it's not an easy thing to take at the time. But every failure, quote unquote, again, like failures, I think are just successes packaged differently. Every time I look back, I was like, that happened so that this other thing could happen and could teach me this and bring me back to this. I am so grateful for those moments that I thought were failures because they really weren't. They were just moments that were meant to kind of teach me something to move on to make me a more successful individual. So that would be my advice.
Great advice. Yeah. I can totally I concur 100% with you with, you know, thinking about like these were opportunities that I thought, oh, you know, this was it. This was my dream. It didn't happen. And then it's like, wait a second, you know, I didn't know what was right around the corner until it was around the corner. And then I realized if I had that, I wouldn't have been able to get this new thing. So sometimes we just don't know what's right around the corner. And we're so disappointed when it doesn't happen. We think this is it, but it's really good advice because, as you say, it's rare if there's no disappointments and failures and no's. I haven't met anyone who hasn't experienced it. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's important because like you can be open to pivoting maybe like if you had this one goal, maybe it might look a little different because for me, I thought I was gonna work in a consumer packaged goods company. So like CVS or Johnson & Johnson. I was like, oh, I love the makeup. I love the Johnson's baby products and that's what I'm gonna do. But then I saw this other offer for an internship in pharmaceuticals. And I was like, oh, I don't even know. I don't have the right knowledge. I don't have a super strong science background, but this could be cool. So then I pivoted and I did 3 more experiences in pharmaceuticals. So now it's space with Cosmic Girls. It's like, oh, another pivot, but like this is cool. Like I want to continue learning. So totally understand that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Carlina, are there questions that you've seen from the audience, or you have some other questions?
Actually, not yet from the audience, but I do have a question myself. Tabitha, you mentioned several times that you had experiences here and there, and I'm sure that throughout your career you've had the chance to interview lots of inspiring people and connect with a lot of inspiring people as well. So I was wondering, in terms of mentoring, could you maybe pinpoint something on when you were like the age of the girls that are watching us now? Somebody could have been a professor, like a colleague, I don't know, that inspired you to overcome challenges or fears that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I think a really great resource I had when I was in high school and when I was going into college is I was able to be mentored kind of by my peers because I went into like, I don't know if high schools still do this, but we used to have like broadcast announcements. And that was my way of like being a part of the school and telling the stories of the school. I did that in high school. And then when I went to college, we had something called TSTV. And that was a group of individuals, freshmen all the way through senior age range that wanted to work in television, wanted to do different things. Some people wanted to go into the music side of things. Some people wanted to go to film. Others wanted to go into news. And so this is kind of a broader answer to your question, but I think finding organizations and groups of like-minded people is a great way to get mentorship. And then just kind of like the Cosmic Girls Foundation, if you find a group like this that you guys are in, you reach out to individuals like, myself, and you have other resources and people in the field that you might want to be in. And those organizations can make direct connections and contacts. Anytime anyone ever reaches out to me hoping for career advice or connections, I help them because I know how key that was when I was younger. And I couldn't pinpoint them all specifically, but I do remember sending out, emails after someone would come. Scott Pelley came and he spoke actually at the University of Texas, and he gave us all his email address. He worked for 60 Minutes for a long time on CBS. And I remember emailing him, and we had a connection because he was also a scuba diver. So I was able to talk to him about that, and he was able to kind of point me in the direction of, hey, how do I do what you do? And he was able to give me a little more step by step of like starting in a small market and making sure you get your chops under you before you go big. And that helped a lot as well. So I would say find like-minded peers and find those organizations.
Amazing.
Thank you. Sorry. I was just gonna say, what's one thing you wish you would have known at the beginning of your career?
That's funny. I probably would have liked to tell myself it's going to be okay. That's the thing about the successes and the failures we talk about is sometimes you don't know. Is it going to be okay? Am I going to make it? I mean, there are times, guys, I will admit to you, like working as a journalist, as a broadcaster, as someone skilled in my field, I've come down to $1 in my bank account and I've been like, how am I going to pay rent? But something will always come up. And when you work really hard, you're able to find those freelance opportunities, find those more permanent careers. And I would just say kind of keep going. But that would kind of be it.
Any questions from the audience, or you could always type it as well.
Yeah, like it means so much. I know, who do we have here? We have Kat and Isabel. It's so awesome that you guys are here. It really, really means a lot to me because I know you could be doing so many other things. But if you have any questions, please ask me.
Can you hear me? No?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, really? Yeah, it works. All my questions have been answered, but it was really inspiring to hear your story and how you've been through your journey. And I feel really motivated to go on now and believe that there always is hope and there is a way to get what I want. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, there definitely is.
Isabel, did you have a question? I saw your hand raised, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I really want to thank you also for this inspiring and motivational talk and also webinar. And I had a question. You have worked both in the industries of space and underwater. Do you think is there any similarities or any differences between these two worlds?
That's a great question. Kind of like you saw in that video I showed you, there's a lot of similarities. The thing is, being underwater is a lot like being in space. And when I came onto Blue Origin, I actually wrote a pretty long essay tying the two things together. Scuba diving is something that you train for. You have to take certain tests, you have to have certain requirements, you have to have certain basic understandings, and you have to be able to do a pretty decent amount of math. So that said, it works and it translates really well over here working in space systems. When I'm doing kind of the more communication side, when I'm talking about the difference between scuba diving and space, the similarities are endless, right? There's engineering behind both, there's math behind both, there's stories that are happening on both sides. And then on occasion, we send astronauts and we send systems underwater because that's the best way to essentially train with to feel no gravity. When you have total neutral buoyancy underwater, it's the same as being in outer space. So every time I go scuba diving, I sometimes for a second or two will just close my eyes and be totally neutrally buoyant and just be like, this is what it's going to be like to float out in space. And while I haven't gotten to go to space yet, it is still on my list, and hopefully in a couple of years I can circle back and I can tell you how similar it is to be in space and to be scuba diving. But my inclination and all the math is telling me that it's pretty close.
Thank you.
Of course.
So I'm wondering, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just thinking we have girls from all around the world in Cosmic Girls. Some of them are from vulnerable communities, and yeah, I was just wondering how we can inspire them, these people from vulnerable communities, to see space, as not just a destination for the few, but as a real opportunity, kind of to transform their lives and their communities.
I want to
thoughts on that.
Yeah, I kind of want to tie it into my broadcast career. Let's follow me here. So 20 years ago, I had to go to college, go to a broadcast course. I had to go through all these steps, start in a small market, work my way up. Today, someone who's interested in broadcast can take out their phone and they can start creating stories, talking to people, and learning in a new way, right? I think that is very applicable to what is happening in the science field, the STEM field, especially in vulnerable communities. Things are becoming much more accessible than they were, even a decade ago. So I think the good news is that with so much advancements in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math, and within the space systems specifically, there are so many opportunities, especially within, like, here at Blue Origin, we're a private space firm, right? We have over 10,000 employees, and private space systems, gosh, I just remember being in high school when I believe the very first ever private rocket took off. And that would have been only 16, 17 years ago. And now, look, we have private companies doing it all the time. So there is a ton of growth and a ton of opportunity. Anyone who's willing to learn, there are definitely organizations that are willing to help you and willing to make sure that women in this field will continue to thrive.
And that's amazing. But I'm also wondering, for people who are not U.S. citizens, are there opportunities at Blue Origin too?
That's a great question. That is not one I'm 100% sure that I can answer, just because I work on more on the communications side. I might just ask my colleague who's helping me out here, which, by the way, this is a good learning lesson. When we do presentations like this, it's never a one-person team. I have a whole team. Do you think we have these opportunities for individuals out of the country? I think that they follow the standard, like, US visa programs, but oh yeah, we did. We just opened up. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. We just actually opened up an office out in Luxembourg, which is in Europe. So I know we have a couple of different locations in Europe that are available. And I know that there's a broader vision to continue to expand. So my answer to that is yes, there is definitely opportunity outside of the US.
Okay. And like maybe, and are there internship possibilities as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Those would continue just like they do here in the US. You'd reach out to the local offices and check in with them, but yeah.
Super cool.
And maybe one question that I had, and maybe, I don't know if we asked in the past, but what drove you to learn scuba diving? Why was it of your interest? Really
Can I be?
random, but
I can be a little vulnerable with you guys for a moment. I took a scuba diving course in college because my mom died and I needed something to distract myself, and it seemed pretty cool. And it was just something that was kind of there to help relieve my mind and tension. I know all of us all over the world, we deal with different complications that can affect our lives. My mom was an amazing person, but she passed when I was about 20, and yeah, scuba diving then became a lifelong passion because I think when I'm underwater, I still kind of have this connection to her. I don't know. It's one of those kind of funny things. And then by kind of a series of things going wrong, which I told you, sometimes failure is really success, I ended up competing in Miss Scuba International. It's an international scuba diving beauty competition. By the way, I was not a beauty pageant girl. That was not my thing. I was never even, at that point, I had never even really been on camera. I just went for the free scuba diving, and I was really passionate, and I decided to just give it my all and have fun with it. And I ended up winning. And that opened a lot of other doors to being able to do things. So there's a little story and lesson in that is sometimes you just say yes to opportunities, and you may not know where the end of the road is, but you know that you're going to enjoy the journey.
Really cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Are there more questions, Carolina and Carla, or are we? I'm just working. I'm thinking about like, so what would you say, is you showed us a lot of cool stuff with all the different videos, but, personally, out of all the things you've done so far, what's your favorite thing that stays as a highlight for you so far in your job?
Here at Blue Origin or throughout my career specifically?
Well, we'll say one of each. Tell us about in your career and also at Blue Origin.
I mean, I came on to Blue Origin. I really had my feet to the fire when I joined here. I came on about 2 weeks to the day before NS-31 launch, which was our all-female flight that included, Carrie Ann Flynn, Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, Amanda Wynn, Aisha Bowe, and Gail King. And although I have come from a background where I have interviewed politicians, astronauts, actors, you name it, I have chatted with them. I was a little nervous because it had been a minute since I have actually sat down and interviewed people, because for the previous 3 years I was working as a travel journalist, which I was still interviewing people, but not that high profile. And getting to sit down and talk to each one of them was really exciting and really it kind of reminded me of why I love storytelling, because each of those incredible women had a story to tell, and I was able to kind of open up the door for them to share why this journey was important for them. And then I would say other highlights include I did cover a World Series in baseball, which was kind of fun, and I have done an entire show live underwater for Earth Day. That was a real feat to undertake when I worked at NBC. Like, I had a full face mask on. I was talking about the importance of planting corals underwater. And then I have also flown with the Blue Angels, which is that's the other thing. Sometimes when you're in broadcast, you get to do some of the fun stuff too. So I actually got to go up with the Blue Angels, which is a military team here in the United States, and fly with them and tell the story of why they do what they do.
Wow. That is so cool. How many G's did you pull when you were doing that?
I pulled 7.3 G's.
Whoa.
The max G's, I've pulled 9.1 G's before in an acrobatic plane. I have a video. It's pretty amazing when you pull G's like that and pass out, you go straight to REM sleep. So you immediately start like dreaming. It's very, very weird. And then you wake up and you really don't know where you are. It's kind of trippy.
I didn't know that. You pass out? Wow. That's incredible.
You can. You can if you're.
So they didn't teach you like the anti-gravity straining maneuver so that you wouldn't pass out, or that you couldn't overcome the G forces with 9 Gs?
I'll tell you guys the secret. So I have done enough flights that I didn't know the maneuver. It's called the Hick maneuver. But for video purposes and knowing what people like to see, and this happens in communication too, I asked him to make me pass out, and I didn't use the Hick maneuver because I knew the footage would be funny.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Okay, super cool. That's really cool though. I didn't know about going into REM sleep.
Yeah,
Um,
that's something also, by the way, I just heard, or someone, one of the pilots told me that could not be accurate. I probably need to look it up, but I do remember dreaming immediately. Like I immediately started dreaming and it was very weird. And then I came back to, which was only about, 5 seconds later.
was it a good dream?
It was weird because you could still hear, right? The jets are very loud, but you're seeing other things and you're like, where am I?
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. No, super cool. I would love to, maybe somehow we can get that video.
Oh yeah, I can send it to you. I have
okay.
like a full GoPro cut too, if you want to see it.
Oh,
my
yeah, yeah, that sounds super cool.
We can share that in the forum.
What?
I was gonna say if we can share that in the forum or somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, no,
if
we'd
you're
love to
comfortable.
We'd love to
Yeah,
see
sure.
that, to show that to others. Yeah, I'm sure everybody would be interested. So we have also, Tabitha, some, on this webinar series, we like to do a lightning round of quick fire questions so that straight from the hip, shooting straight from the hip, and you don't have to think about these questions, but it just gives us a chance to get to know you even more a little bit. So
Sure.
you want to play? Okay, we'll
Oh
start
yeah,
out.
I'm in.
We'll start out easy. So, what's your go-to comfort food?
Sour Patch Kids.
What? What is that? What?
The candies? Sour Patch Kid candies?
I don't know what
I
that
have
is.
no idea what that is.
Really? Does no one know what Sour Patch Kid candies are?
No.
They're really good. They're like almost like gummies. And like
Yeah.
oh sorry, you can explain.
Ah.
Yeah, they're sour gummies essentially.
Okay, fun.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. And what's your dream space destination?
The Andromeda Galaxy.
Wow. It's funny. I had someone tell me that I was originally from there. So I got something with Andromeda as well. That's so funny. Okay, first word that comes to mind when you think of space.
Star Wars.
Interesting. Okay, and if you could time travel, would you go to the past or to the future?
Ooh, I would go to the past because I really want to know. I recently heard that T-Rexes actually traveled in packs. They were pack animals and not solo creatures like we previously thought. And I'd want to see if T-Rexes traveled in packs or not.
Super cool. T-Rex. Wow. Save a thing for dinosaurs also.
I do love dinosaurs, yeah.
Okay. And if you could invite anyone, living or historical, to space, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. There is someone who inspired my career a little bit. He's a little edgy, I would say, for high schoolers, but Anthony Bourdain is someone that was very beloved for a long time. And to be able to see and hear his thoughts on going to space, knowing that he had been all over the world, it would have been really cool to see him go to space.
Yeah, I wonder what he would have liked to eat in space.
Yeah, exactly. What he would have taken up their little snack.
A little snack there, space snack. Yeah. So, and what's the coolest space fact that you know of, heard of?
My favorite space fact is that time travel is real due to the theory of relativity.
There you go.
Yep.
So we can get younger by going to space?
Yes, we need to go very far, very fast.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's do that. And if you could go to any planet or constellation, what would it be?
Ooh, any planet or constellation. Jupiter, I think. I think Jupiter's so beautiful. If I were able to actually see what it's like from the ground up, we always see, of course, the massive storms that it's having. I think it would be really neat to see it in another perspective.
Totally cool. And last question, your favorite sci-fi movie or book?
Ooh, my favorite sci-fi movie is Rogue One by the Star Wars universe.
Okay, super cool. Wow, we've learned a lot about you today, Tabitha, and it's been such an inspiring discussion. And yeah, and it's really great to hear all that you're doing and see, your world and a day in the life of. So thank you so much for sharing your journey and insights with us. And thank you everybody for joining us. And we hope, you leave feeling a bit more motivated to pursue a career in the space industry and yeah, and want to make, learn more about what's going on in Blue Origin, and just, the space industry in general. So I think you're the first person we've had to talk about the A from STEAM. So really appreciate you bringing that insight in, and hearing how how you're opening up the A for the rest of the people, maybe who are not doing science and technology, but that there's still a place for them as well, at Blue Origin. So thank you for that.
Thank you guys so much for hosting me. This was really exciting. And I have to give a shout out to Sal, who is behind the cameras here doing all the technical side. He's the guy who makes it all happen. Oh, that's right. You can't see because you've got the cameras hooked up, but he's over there. And I seriously, Isabel, Kat, it means a lot that you guys tuned in on, in the middle of summer and if you guys have any questions, anyone has questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer, help in any way I can.
Super cool. And this is one of the reasons why, because we're a global organization, it's good for some girls and, inconvenient for others. People are sleeping now and that sort of stuff. So Carla, we are recording this now, right? And we're going to be posting the link in our social media and our forum for the girls that missed it, right?
And we'll be announcing when the recording is up. But yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. So yeah, don't forget to check out our other webinars in our summer series. And I'd love to just say to everybody, have a great day or evening, and see you in space, and see you next time.
Yeah, see you in space. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I'm stopping.